Working with John Rikita and the Pokerses, we would go around the campus every morning and look for birds that had hit the windows. Unfortunately, most of those birds had died and they ended up as part of Stockton's collection that you see here. The K-Wing mural is a great first step into making the public aware of what's going on and what an issue it is with birds striking windows.
Alice came with a wonderful PowerPoint, brought the history of the bird strikes. We watched it, we approved it, we recommend that she would go to 2020 for funding. Once she got the funding, then we stepped in as well with Cindy Gove, and a lot of hands had a lot to do with this beautiful mural that was put out there, and a great success.
We applied for a 2020 grant, which is funding from the Office of the President, and a mural was created by our graphic designers, Bernie DeLaurie and Heidi Hartley, and that was installed on the windows in the form of perforated film. So when you're inside, you can still see out the windows, but the birds no longer see the reflections and they won't crash into the windows because the art is striking, not the birds. The K-Wing mural is a statement piece, and we hope that that will inspire other areas that are impact zones for these bird strikes on campus and even just in the surrounding community. It was the art solution that made the most sense.
When you're seeing this happen, or you're seeing the after effects, it's just unfortunately a waste of life. These birds have traveled so far. They just didn't start their migration at Stockton. A lot of these birds are coming from Canada, the Arctic, and they're making their way to Central and South America.
As a student worker, we had many calls all throughout the spring, the summer, the fall, especially during those high migration seasons during the spring and during the fall, where a lot of these birds are stopping here in the New Jersey Pine Barrens to get to their next destination anywhere around the world.
John let me borrow his notebook, and I transcribed that analog information into an Excel spreadsheet just so that you can see the actual impact that windows were having on the birds.
I had known of birds striking windows for some years, but on my first day as a student here, I saw a dead hummingbird that had recently struck a window. So it was very, poignant for me to see a tangible example of it before myself.
When you see a dead bird, a lot of times you're not really aware of how that bird died. You just see them in a location. And once you become aware that windows are fatal to birds and that they fly into them frequently, you realize what's going on, and you see a dead bird next to a building, you say, oh gosh, I bet he flew into the window.
Two Stockton instructors, Martha Pokers, operated a wildlife rehabilitation center, namely for birds, which was called the ARC, or the Avian Rehabilitation Center, not too far from here at Stockton. And so when Lester Block and myself would find injured birds, at that point in time, we would always carefully get them into a well-ventilated cardboard box and bring them to the center for rehabilitation purposes.
Humankind can work in correlation with nature and vice versa, and we can live together and we can help each other out, and hopefully we continue throughout the college with more murals for bird strike.
Hopefully when they see this mural, they can take this message away that Stockton University is doing its part to help our migratory birds, help them get to the next step or their next destination, and bring that home to where they're from as well in New Jersey or anywhere around the world.